The fire burned down to a few red embers an hour ago. Spark waves a hand and can't even see it move. Somewhere in that dark, something already found him. And it sees Spark with no trouble at all. You carry the same body he had. Built for sunlight, almost useless after dark. For 300,000 years, this was every single night. A soft, slow, half-blind animal in a world of hunters. Almost nobody asks how that animal made it to morning. The answer is one of the best survival stories we have. Start with the eyes, because ours are a daylight tool. They are packed with color cones for a bright world. In real darkness, those cones go close to useless. We fall back on rods, which only see in dull grey. A cat has a mirror behind its retina called the tapetum. Light bounces back through, so a cat squeezes the night twice. We never grew that mirror, so our night vision stays flat. A leopard pulls in roughly 7 times more light than we do. Our nose is weak, so a downwind hunter stays a secret. Stickman nose with an X, wind lines hiding a predator. Our ears beat our eyes, yet a stalking cat moves in silence. Big stickman ears, silent leopard paw print. We can't outrun a big cat over short ground. Stickman sprinting, leopard blur closing in. We can't climb fast enough once the claws come out. Stickman halfway up a tree, leopard leaping. We can't fight one off with bare hands in the dark. Every advantage at night belonged to the other side. Stickman small and shaking. On paper, the dark should have erased us early. The bones prove it almost did. At Swartkrans Cave in South Africa, scientists C.K. Brain looked closer. Many early human skulls there carry matching puncture holes. The holes line up exactly with the lower fangs of a leopard. Leopards drag a kill up a tree and eat at leisure. Below that tree, the leftover bones dropped into the cave. That cave was not a home. It was a leopard's pantry. By day, eagles took the small ones from above. The torn child skull still shows talon marks in the eye sockets. But the true terror clocked in after sunset. Lions hunt the dark in teams and pick off the slow. Hyenas work in packs and crush bone with ease. Their night vision and numbers turned dusk into a deadline. Further north, cave lions and saber-tooths waited in the cold. A cave bear could fill the only shelter for miles. Huge bear shape blocking a cave entrance. One slow night could end a whole family line. There was no lock, no wall, no second chance. Open dark camp, nothing between sleepers and eyes. A sleeping human was the easiest meal on the savannah. So the real question is not why we were afraid. The question is what a weak animal did about it. The first answer was fire. We had been taming it for a very long time. At Wunderwerk Cave, ash and burnt bone sit in million-year-old layers. That makes controlled fire older than our own species. At Gesher Benot Yaakov in Israel, hearths burned 790,000 years ago. By then, a fire was the center of the whole camp. A fire does something no claw or muscle ever could. It throws a circle of light the predators refuse to cross. Big cats back away from open flame by instinct. The smell of smoke alone tells them to keep their distance. Heat let the group sleep on cold ground and wake up alive. Light let them see hands, faces, and danger after dark. Cooked food gave more energy from the same hunt. Fire even hardened the tips of their wooden spears. But a fire is greedy. It eats fuel all night long. On open land with few trees, wood ran out fast. So they burned fat and bone when the wood was gone. Someone gathered fuel by day for the fire at night. Losing the flame in a storm could cost lives. So they learned to carry embers from camp to camp. Fire turned the deadliest hours of the day into hours. Still, fire alone was not enough. A flame left alone will quietly die. Sleeping in the open meant trusting that circle of light. So they slept close, packed tight around the heat. Bodies pressed together share warmth and lose less of it. The person sleeping alone was the cold and exposed one. In a hard night, the loner was the one who vanished. Numbers were a wall the dark could not climb. But a wall of sleepers has one fatal gap. Huddle asleep, fire dropping low, no one watching. If the fire dies while everyone sleeps, the wall is gone. Fire out, eyes flooding in. So humans did something no other prey animal does. They almost never all slept at the same time. In 2017, scientist David Sampson tested this with the Hadza, Tanzania. The Hadza still hunt and gather much as people did long ago. His team tracked their sleep for over 200 hours. They watched who was awake and who was out, minute by minute. Across all of it, one number stood out. The whole group was asleep together for only 18 minutes. 18 minutes, rest of the clock shaded, someone awake. For the other 99%, a watcher was always up. Almost no gap left dark. Nobody was assigned the job. It happened on its own. The trick was age. People sleep on different clocks. Older adults wake early and sleep light. Younger ones stay up late and sleep deep. Teenagers drift somewhere in the middle of the night. Stack those clocks together and the night fills with cover. A grandmother waking at dawn was a guard, not a burden. The light sleep of the old may have kept the young alive. Elder awake, children safe asleep nearby. Samson called it the sentinel hypothesis. The group itself became a clock that never fully stopped. Camp as a clock face, one figure always lit. And the watcher had long quiet hours to fill. Spark by the fire, others asleep, time passing. That is where the night did something strange to us. Firelight stretched the day past sunset for the first time. Suddenly, there were hours with light and nothing urgent to do. Relaxed circle, no hunt, just the fire. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner recorded talk by that light. Researcher Stickman with a recorder by a fire group. By day the talk was food, tools, and complaints. She found that day talk was practical and a little tense. After dark, more than 80% of it turned to stories. People told of distant camps and people not present. They named the dead and kept them in the group's memory. Faces of ancestors sketched above the fire. They mapped the stars and turned them into a calendar. The night watch became where elders taught the young. Hunting routes, plant lore, and old laws passed down by flame. Stories carried rules no one had to write down. Laughter and song bound strangers into one band. In a world without money, those bonds were survival. Image: 2 stickmen sharing food, a bond line between them. The people who liked you fed you when your hunt failed. Empty-handed hunter handed meat by a friend. So the fire built the web that held everyone together. Camp linked by glowing lines of friendship. Fear of the dark slowly turned into time spent together. The campfire may be where human culture was actually born. Ideas as small sparks rising. The thing that hunted us gave us our first nights of meaning. But darkness still shaped how we slept. Moon high, camp settling into deeper night. When they could, they put walls between themselves and the dark. A cave with one entrance was easy to guard with a fire. On open land, they built huts from branches, hide, and bone. Dome hut of branches and hide, fire inside. A low doorway trapped cold air and kept the warm air in. Hut cross-section, cold air low, warm air high. Thorn fences around camp slowed anything trying to rush in. Ring of thorn brush around the sleeping camp. Over time, our eyes did adjust, just not like a cat's. Human eye slowly widening its pupil in the dark. Given an hour, the dark resolves into dim shapes and edges. Grey shapes emerging from black, slow reveal. And sleep itself was split in two, not one long block. Historian Roger Ekirch found records of first and second sleep. First sleep/second sleep. People slept about 4 hours, then woke in the dark. For an hour or two they talked, tended the fire, or thought. Then they slept a second time until dawn. That wakeful gap put eyes on the dark at its deepest hour. Broken sleep was not a flaw. It was another layer of the watch. Several sleepers, each waking at different times. Every habit pointed at the same goal: reach the sunrise. Camp facing east, faint dawn glow ahead. We never grew a leopard's eyes. Human eye beside a cat eye, the cat eye circled. We borrowed the sun instead and carried it on a stick. Spark raising his torch like a tiny sun. Fire, tight sleep, shelter, and stories did the rest. Flame, huddle, hut, speech bubble. None of it needed claws, fur, or better eyes. It needed a brain that plans and a group that shares. In 1879, a glass bulb finally beat the dark for good. Image: an early light bulb glowing, 1879. One switch did what 1,000 campfires once did. Light switch beside a row of old campfires. The old predators blinked out of our nights. Glowing eyes vanishing as a room lights up. But the fear they built is still wired into you. Modern stickmen uneasy in a dark hallway. Kids still ask for a light before they sleep. Child stickman in bed with a glowing nightlight. A dark basement still raises the hair on your neck. That dread is a gift from every ancestor who stayed alert. Long line of stickmen back to Spark, all watchful. For 300,000 years, a dead fire meant a funeral. Cold grey ashes, a single stickman fading. We complain about a power cut they would have feared like death. Spark watched the dark so that you could sleep straight through it. Spark by the fire looking outward, dawn breaking behind. He hands the light forward, the same light, just smaller now. Spark passing his flame to a modern stickman. The wind was never sharper eyes. Cat eye crossed out, a fire lit instead. We kept each other awake until the sun came back. Sunrise over the whole camp, the group waking safe.